Olivia really loved to read. She spent every second of her free time with books. She especially loved romance novels. She would fully immerse herself in the surprising love stories, and sadly understood every time that those feelings and relationships only exist in books, unfortunately. Everything is much more pragmatic and boring in real life. She was 28, unmarried, and lived with her mom. She had been dating Charlie for 2 years, but no longer went on dates. Olivia's mother always told her daughter it was time to think about starting a family, and if Charlie wasn't going to propose, she should break up with him and look for a potential husband. Olivia worked in a big company, earned good money, and could work from home some days thanks to modern technology and relaxed management. Olivia liked the days when she didn't need to wake up early, take the subway across the city, and go back the same way in the evening. Although she did really love the trips. She loved people watching them hustling around and where they were rushing to. She loved listening to them talk, argue, and even fight. Sometimes she watched a person and imagined their life, their job, their family, and their home. Also, she would fantasize about what their personality was. Are they an optimist or pessimist? What kind of habits do they have? That made her commute fly by. So today was one of the work-at-home days. She woke up in the morning, drank a cup of coffee, and sat down at her computer. There was a knock at her door, and her mother was there. "You're home today? I just can't get used to the idea of working at home wrapped in a blanket. Despite the benefits, I really don't like it. Young people are so obsessed with their gadgets. People don't go outside as much and don't meet up and chat. You'll all go wild soon. No matter what, in-person communication is irreplaceable. How will you get married sitting at home? You'll sit at home your whole life just reading books." She took in a deep breath. "Mom, please don't start," Olivia said, smiling at her. "Also, I'm not alone. I have Charlie." "Oh yes, Charlie. 2 years and he still doesn't want to get married." "What makes you think it's he who doesn't want to get married? Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm not ready," said Olivia, putting her work aside. "Not ready? What nonsense. You want to say that if Charlie proposed to you, you would say no?" Her mother looked at her inquisitively. Olivia thought. After some time, she smiled and said, "Maybe I would." "Don't make me laugh. Whatever. Let's go get breakfast." Deep down, Olivia's mother worried that about her daughter not rushing to get married was because her own marriage was a very bad example for her. She grew up without a father herself, so she really wanted Olivia to have a whole family. It came at a high price. She had to be patient with and forgive constant cheating, humiliation, and then abuse. When it became unbearable, she filed for divorce. There was finally peace at home. She regretted not doing it sooner so her daughter wouldn't have had to see and hear the arguments and fights. Maybe that's why her daughter was in no rush now. During breakfast, she brought up marriage again. Olivia got frustrated, saying, "Mom, is there nothing else to talk about besides my getting married? I'll get married when the time comes. Also, I'm not sure Charlie's the right one." Olivia went silent. "You're serious? Then why are you still with him if you don't like him?" "No, I do like him. A lot. I probably even love him. But I can't really imagine family life with him for some reason." Charlie got to work in a horrible mood. He got home from the club early, barely slept, and his head was killing him. "Dude, rough night? I saw you leaving with your arms around a pretty long-legged brunette. How many is that now? You're not tired of it? I just don't get why you're playing around with Olivia like this. She seems like a nice girl." "Yeah, Olivia's different. All these blondes and brunettes are one-night stands, just to have a good time. But Olivia, she's educated, smart, well-raised, and unreachable. Unlike these. Olivia's for life, not for entertainment. Do you understand?" "You've been leading her on for 2 years now. Just watch when she gets tired of it and finds someone better than you." Charlie grabbed his head and thought, "You're probably right. he answered and called Olivia. "Hey, sweetie," he heard a pleasant voice on the other end. Charlie invited Olivia to a restaurant that evening. He didn't take her out like this, so she immediately thought he wanted to tell her something important. Her first thought was he probably wanted to break up. Olivia caught herself, but for some reason didn't seem upset about that idea. After work, Charlie ran into a jewelry store and got a ring. She was gorgeous. Light, barely noticeable makeup, a nice hairstyle, and a dress that highlighted her amazing figure without being too revealing. After looking her up and down, Charlie thought, "This is what I need. I won't find anything better." The evening was wonderful. They had a great dinner in a nice restaurant, and her beloved man was with her. Olivia had already forgotten she had thought about breaking up. She was happy. Charlie raised his glass and said a toast to Olivia. He said she was amazing. He was so happy that she was in his life, and finished by proposing his hand in marriage and held out a small box. Olivia was irresistible. She had amazing taste. The wedding dress she chose was perfect. She was like a princess. The wedding was a blast. There were tons of guests, but Olivia couldn't find Charlie. She was surprised to see her best friend Amanda coming out of the bathroom. She was a bit disheveled, and her face was sad, and she looked upset. "Amanda, is everything okay?" Olivia asked. "Yes, of course. Why?" she answered. "I can't find Charlie anywhere. Did you see him?" "No, let's go look together." She grabbed Olivia by the hand and pulled her in a different direction. Olivia moved in with Charlie after the wedding. They put out their honeymoon since Charlie was finishing up an important project at work and couldn't leave. Olivia remodeled. Her husband's bachelor pad wasn't suitable for family life, so Olivia went crazy setting up their family home. The apartment looked brand new a month later. Olivia was surprised that her daily chores made her happy. She liked planning meals, buying food, cooking, and taking care of her husband. But it seemed like Charlie wasn't as happy with family life. After a couple of months, he had become moody, cold, and distant. They weren't close at all. Charlie said he was tired at work, and the project was taking everything out of him. But when it was finished and he could rest, everything would change. Olivia was alone. She didn't have the warmth and closeness she needed, but waited patiently for everything to change. Olivia's mom went on an around-the-world trip after the wedding, a trip she had dreamed of and saved for. After getting her daughter married, she finally relaxed, and it was time to fulfill her dream. Everything was planned. She wasn't to come back for at least a year. "I'm so jealous of you. You have a husband and home. I'm absolutely alone," Amanda said. She often came over for dinner and stayed overnight because it would be too late, and she didn't want to go to the other side of town alone. But now she asked to stay for 2 weeks. Olivia was going to remodel their apartment, but Amanda had a horrible dust allergy. "Why alone? What about Richard? I thought he was a good guy and you two were serious." "Richard dumped me on your wedding day. He probably found someone new," Amanda said, getting red. "Dumped you? Why? Why didn't you say anything sooner? It doesn't seem like Richard at all," Olivia said, surprised. "You know, people can change, and annoyingly, the company he opened is doing quite well. Now he's rich too." "Like that's important. Money isn't happiness," Olivia said, surprised. Maybe it isn't important to you, but it is to me." After making dinner, they set the table and sat down to eat. Charlie strangely was energetic and in a good mood. Olivia thought that maybe there would be good news today. The last thing she remembered was getting ready to drink coffee after dinner. When she woke up, she didn't understand what happened the night before. She only drank a couple glasses of wine. What happened? Why did she not remember how the evening ended? Her head was killing her like a bad hangover. She went into the kitchen and saw Charlie and Amanda drinking coffee, chatting about something. An Advil and cup of strong coffee got her head in the right place. It was the weekend, and Olivia loved going to the market for fresh fruits and vegetables to make something delicious and unusual. She suggested that Amanda and Charlie go with her, but they declined. Charlie said he was going to work at home so Olivia could take the car. The market distracted Olivia from thoughts about the night before. She loved walking up and down the rows, looking at the fruits and vegetables, and enjoying their aromas. She was in no rush to pick out the ones she liked. After she bought everything, Olivia put the bags in her car and decided to drink a cup of coffee in the cafe on the corner. She saw a familiar face, Richard, in the cafe. When he saw her, his face broke into a big smile. He waved to her and she went to sit at his table. There was no trace of the previous Richard. This was a handsome, respectable man. Olivia caught herself thinking that she couldn't look away from him. They had met in college. At one point they were very close, and that's when she introduced him to Amanda. When they graduated, they met less often, and once Charlie appeared, they only met at parties with mutual friends. They hadn't talked like this in ages. The time flew by, and they kept having more to talk about. When she was ready to leave, Olivia asked, "Richard, what happened with Amanda?"
You mean why we broke up? You really don't know?
I only found out you weren't together yesterday. Amanda said you dumped her, but she didn't explain why. I understand it isn't my business, but maybe you could tell me what happened. Richard looked at Olivia right in the eyes, which made her skin break out in goosebumps.
Olivia, you've always been extremely kind, trusting, and naive. Unfortunately, there are people who use this, and they are all around you. I'm not sure you'll like what you hear.
Olivia didn't understand what he was talking about.
I found her with another man.
He didn't want to say anything more and got up to leave, but Olivia stopped him. Richard, that's not possible. Amanda loves you. Maybe you didn't understand. Maybe you were mistaken.
My goodness, Olivia, you always want to see only the good. Believe me, I wasn't mistaken. I saw them with my own eyes. I found her at your wedding with your husband. They were together in the bathroom.
Olivia was floored. Richard took out a business card and said,
Sorry, I didn't want to tell you. Here's my phone number. Call me if you need help. You can always count on me.
Olivia didn't remember how she got home. There were flashes of memories that didn't seem like accidents now. Words that she believed now seemed to be coded in lies. She opened the door and went right into the bedroom. When she opened the door, she was stunned. Her husband and best friend were in bed together. How could they do this to her? She didn't say a word, ran out of the apartment, got in her car, and drove away. All she could see was Charlie and Amanda together. She couldn't see the road because of her tears. Next, she was driving the wrong way and hit something. Everything went quiet and dark. Olivia came to, or that's what it seemed like to her. She heard someone's voice and opened her eyes, but didn't see anything. She touched her eyes, was convinced they were opened, but for some reason still couldn't see anything. She thought it was probably a dream, a very bad nightmare, and was even a bit happy that she would wake up soon. But a man's voice told her otherwise. Her doctor told her that her head was seriously injured in the accident. They had done surgery, which was successful, but not as much as they thought, and Olivia went blind. Then she felt a needle, and it was quiet again. She didn't know how long she had been in the hospital, and she didn't really care. Charlie visited regularly but never said anything. He sat next to her bed every time, but she turned away and never said anything. He took her home after she was released. She heard him talk to Amanda. Her so-called friend said she wasn't going to take care of her or live with her, so Charlie thought about what to do. Olivia understood there would be nothing good for her there, but she didn't expect Charlie was capable of doing what he would do next. After a couple of days, he went into her room and told her to get ready. He put her in the car. He didn't respond to her question of, "Where are we going?" She didn't ask again. It was a long drive. Finally, they stopped, and he helped her get out and sit on the sidewalk. He told her to wait. But then he got in the car and left. She heard the sound of the trees and grass, the birds singing, and nothing else. She thought he left her in the woods and got scared. She understood that she couldn't be out on her own. She began to cry, and all she could think was, "I don't want to die." The glaze in her eyes got darker, so she decided it was already night. Suddenly, She heard steps and an old man asking,
"Dear, why are you sitting out here? It's already late. If you came to the church, why didn't you come in?"
Olivia turned her head towards where the voice came from. "I'm blind and can't see where to go."
"Then how did you get here?"
Olivia lowered her head and began to cry.
"Stop, don't cry. Come with me."
He helped her to her feet. His name was Thomas, and he was the pastor in the small church. It was a small industry town, but when the factories closed and there wasn't any more work, people left, looking for a better life. All that was left was a couple dozen old people. Olivia told Thomas everything that happened to her.
There. Everything will be okay,"
he said to her. Despite being so depressed, she felt at peace. For the first time since the hospital, she slept well. Charlie and Amanda weren't anywhere near. Nothing else was important. Weeks went by. One day, Thomas asked Charlie if she had any friends or family who could look after her while he was away. His sister was sick, and he wanted to visit her and bring her back with him. Olivia suddenly remembered Richard. She asked Thomas to check if there was a business card in her pocket. Olivia called the number on the card and didn't know what to say when she heard his voice on the other end. She finally said, "Richard, it's Olivia. I need your help." Charlie and Amanda didn't work out like they wanted. Charlie had problems at work since the project wasn't going as planned, and management didn't like that. Amanda lost her job. Richard came home in a horrible mood. She gave him divorce papers, which bothered him. "Well, what did you expect? It's natural considering what you did to her. Or did you think she would dream of coming back to you until her last days?" Amanda said unexpectedly harshly.
"What I did? You mean to say you had nothing to do with this? You wanted to get rid of her."
Okay, calm down. I don't understand why you're so upset. Once you're divorced, maybe we can finally get married and have kids.
"What? Get married? You actually thought I wanted to marry you? Why would I marry someone like you? You're someone to pass the time with. Nothing more. You know, I think you've been here too long. It's time for you to leave. So get your things and make sure I don't see you here tomorrow morning."
Richard came as soon as he heard what happened. He couldn't believe that Charlie could do this.
"Why didn't you call sooner?"
"I'm sorry, Richard. I didn't want to cause you any trouble. It won't be for long. I hope your wife won't mind," Olivia said.
"Wife? Olivia, I'm not married. I haven't dated since Amanda. But if we're being serious, I don't have any time for a personal life because of work."
Richard put Olivia in the car, and they left. Charlie started seriously thinking about how to get Olivia back. He practiced his speech. He would ask her to give him another chance and imagined how she would cry and forgive him. Richard lay down on the couch and turned on the TV. The monthly news channel talked about a successful businessman whose company was nominated for Breakthrough of the Year, and about how the company's owner, an envied bachelor, had finally found someone to become his wife. It was Olivia. She was still as wonderfully dressed, with light makeup and a gorgeous hairdo. She was beautiful, and she was completely healthy.